Hey everybody, this is Joe's Premium Firewood, bringing another fun-filled, exciting video. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about my highest single day sale and profit ever in the history of my business that occurred on Monday, October 5th, 2020, which was 2 days ago from this filming. This is the amount of wood that the customer got, and I'll explain to you in a minute exactly what he got. This is going to a different customer as soon as I'm done with this video. Let me set this up on the tripod here real quick. And so I get over there by the Easton Made Ultra and talk to you guys. If you're wondering why I'm inside the pole barn, it's really windy outside and I don't have a microphone. So I just thought it'd be nice to come in here, and I felt that the audio quality was more important than the video quality. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I make all firewood videos. I release one on this channel. I'll try to do one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I have another channel that I do Sunday morning live streams. It's called Joe's Firewood Videos. This is Joe's Firewood Videos 2. Okay, before I get into the video, I gotta let you guys know something. I got a text from Tom Waddle this morning, you know, the video from Monday. If you didn't see that video, I'll put it in the end screen videos. But he texted me this morning and he said somebody last night stole 15 or 20 logs out of his yard. I couldn't believe it. At first I thought he meant rounds or blocks. No, he's talking about full-fledged logs. So he had to file a police report. So if you see Tom, tell him, you know, you feel bad for him. And man, there's not many people lower than a thief, you know. As much as people work hard and struggle, and then somebody goes and takes it from them, that don't fly well with me. So hopefully they get caught. But karma is a B-I-T-C-H. I'll just tell you that. All right, back to this unbelievable, and I'm sure many of you won't believe me on this sale, but I'll start from the beginning and go through everything I had to do and go over my expenses, and then at the end let you know my profit on this, which just is gonna blow you away. So anyway, last Friday, I think October 2nd, I got a call about 5 o'clock at night from a guy that has a house in South Haven, Michigan, which is about 50 miles from me. It's a 1-hour drive, and he's from Chicago, but this is his second house. And he said he needed firewood Monday morning. And I'm like, right now, my waiting list for deliveries is about 6 weeks long, just because I can only do about 1 delivery a day, and I got like 30 deliveries to do. So, but I do offer an emergency delivery fee. So I told him the price and the emergency delivery fee. Then he comes out and says, well, I need you to get me racks and set me up for storage. So, and I'm just like, I had a few cocktails, I'll be honest, I was getting ready to play my Friday night poker tournament. And with me being so overwhelmed with orders and it's getting harder and harder to find wood, I gave him my I don't want to do it price. I told him $1,000 for a half cord of wood, like what's in my truck right now. And I expected him to just say no, and then we'd be done. And he's like, no, come on, how about 825? Well, that moment, I had a moment of clarity in my head, and I'm like, actually, that's not too bad. I think I could make decent money. Yeah, I'll do it. But he said, okay, well, I'll text you Sunday, and I figured by Sunday he would have found something else or whatever. So it was 9 o'clock Sunday, and I was getting ready to make my plans. I had left Monday open, and I texted him and said, are we still on for Monday? 2 minutes later, he replied back, yes, I want you to do it. So I'm like, wow, I am gonna go through this. So Monday morning, I started about 9:30 a.m. I had a little bit of ash linwood in the front of the truck stacked up there. I went behind the barn where my driest cherry is, and I topped off that front row with cherry because I didn't want them to have all ash. Then after that, I split 2 rows of Tom's Premium Oak Firewood into the truck. So he'd get some oak too, because that stuff's dry. And then, actually I did ash first. I did the ash first, and then I did on the back was oak. So anyway, it was like 50% oak and cherry that's dry, and 50% ash. So then that took me to about 11 a.m. I just had to stop and get gas, and I drove down there, and I got down there about 12:30. I met the guy, he was probably in his 30 years old. His family was there. There was guys there working on the fire pit. They just put it in. They were putting stone around it, but they had a fire brush going. And he's like, don't tell him what I'm paying you. And I'm like, okay, no problem. You know, and so we looked around his yard, and he came up with an area between two trees, and I thought it was an excellent spot too, to put the wood. So I got my tape measure out, measured it, came out to 16 feet, which is perfect. So right at that time, I started unloading some of the wood out of my truck and throwing it on the ground, but I'm like, well, I got enough out of here where I can go, I was gonna go to Menards and get some 4x4s, treated 4x4s to keep it off the ground. You know, you don't want it sitting on the ground. And with it being 16 foot, you know, I could fit 4 8-footers in there, and then that would be, you know, the distance. And then I figured it'd be about a 3 foot tall or so stack. So once I got that wood out, I drove over to Menards, which is like about 3 miles away, and went there. And I was figuring that those 4x4s, those treated 4x4s, were gonna cost like 10 bucks each. No, they were like 22 bucks each. So I spent $89 on the 4x4s. So then I came back, I laid them down, I picked up all the wood that was thrown on the ground and stacked that. And then I unloaded the rest of the wood. And then he's like, so I got that all stacked. And then they started throwing pieces into the fire. They put like 20 pieces on the fire. I mean, it was a rager. I guess he likes his fire, you know, for a fire pit. And so he did that, and he's like, well, what am I gonna cover up this with? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I should have got something, but I didn't have room in my truck anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'll go back to Menards. I'll go get some metal siding, just like with around this pole barn. I've never bought that before. And I guess it comes in standard 3 foot widths, but you can get them, they come 8 foot long. I tried to pick out one of the really cool colors of copper, but I had to end up getting like a gray color. So I got my sheet for that and went to go pay for it. I go to use the bathroom, I reach into my pocket, and my phone's gone. It fell out, so I went around and I backtracked and I looked around and I didn't find it. But I went to the customer service, and thankfully somebody dropped it off, because I'm sitting there thinking, okay, all this money that I'm making today is gonna go to buy a new phone. So that was a big relief. So I got the metal sheeting in there, but like I say, it was 3 foot wide. And then when I got back to his house, I went, and that cost me $41. So I've got $89 into it, and then I got $41 into it for the racking system. And then when I was there, I was able to bend the sheets a foot down on each side, and then it was like whatever, or maybe it was only like 8 inches or 6 inches, and it was a perfect U-shaped color. I'll post a picture on my community tab, just so you can see what it looked like when I was done. So I put that on there, and well, before I went to Menards the second time, he handed me $700. He said, I'll give you the other 8 or the other 125 when you get back. So I already had 700 in my pocket, and I got it set up, and he was very happy with it. And so he handed me 130, and I didn't have a 5, so he just said, just keep it. So I got paid $830. Now the wood probably that I pay for this much wood, a half cord, cost me $100. And so there's $230 into it. And I figure the gas that I used driving there and driving back probably was another 20. So I spent $250 and got paid $830. That's a $580 profit. I mean, can you beat that? And can you blame me for doing it? You know, it was like, you just never know if people have money. And I don't want people out there to think that I'm ripping some family off that's gonna freeze to death if they don't heat their house. This is for a fire pit, and you're not gonna believe this, but it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't burn that whole stack this week. I don't know what they got some family get together party going on, They're all hanging out there, and they like big fires, and they burn. I mean, this is like, you know, at 2 o'clock. They had the fire going at noon. They burn all day. It's only going to do about a week's worth of fires. Now, so if he calls me and wants more, you know, my standard price to do that without the racking system would probably be $300. And that's without emergency. If I got to do an emergency delivery fee, cut line, it'll be $350. So I did talk to him. They had probably 20, 25 acres there. And I said, listen, you need to start getting greenwood and putting it back there and doing the drying to help me out with that, because that's your job. And so he talked to me about that, but I guess one of the guys there that was doing the stone, that he didn't want to hear the price. The customer didn't want that guy to hear the price that he paid me, because I guess he's got a ton of wood and was going to start sawing to him, which is fine by me. I can't supply the whole state, but there you have it. $830 minus $250 is a $580 profit. Not bad for a day. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Check out some of these videos at the end, and we'll see you at the next one.